Welcome on in to another episode of the Healthy Discussion Show. How y'all feeling today? I hope everyone is doing well. Let me know how you feeling. Leave a comment. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend and tell a friend. This is a live update of Kamala Harris. She just announced her policy. And my God, my fathers. She need to study economics and basic economics at that, because I don't sometimes they say that she didn't have any policy, then she opened up her mouth to speak about policies. I think it was best if she just kept her mouth closed, because when you thinking about her policies, it's like, huh, are you just saying this just to say things? Because the reality is, how? But watch this.
I will focus on cutting needless bureaucracy and unnecessary regulatory red tape and encouraging innovative technologies while protecting consumers and creating a stable business environment with consistent and transparent rules of the road.
How?
As president, I will bring together labor with small businesses and major companies.
How? How? Can anyone answer how she plan on doing this? Because last time I checked, right? If Biden basically resigned, right? If Biden is down and out, we are already within the Kamala Harris campaign. We are already within the Kamala Harris way or trajectory of doing things. What is she doing now? Can anyone answer that? What have she done? She says she want to make this and make sure this, make sure that. Did you make sure that them borders was closed? Or was it beneficial, since you know that you lost, the Democrats have lost their citizens vote? You had to cast and bring in people from all over, right? Just to get a refresh button or just to get a fresh mind that you can convince about your BS. But let's continue.
To invest in America, to create good jobs, achieve broad-based growth, and ensure that America continues to define the future and lead the world. And key to creating this opportunity economy is building up our middle class. It is essential. The middle class is one of America's greatest strengths. And to protect it, then, we must defend basic principles.
I really don't think she's trying to protect the middle class. American citizen, which the majority is considered middle class, right? How do y'all feel right now? Forget how do you feel, what's the facts? How's your wallet? How's your spending power? Did it increase or decrease, right? How's your control over your kids, right? How's your food? How's your politicians? Because we're already going through these things, right? And I hate when someone get on the panel just to simply tell us a bold-faced lie. We're already going through these things. We understand that the governor has more power than the actual president. We understand that, hey, the president promises things. When they get in there, it's a whole nother story. So I don't know what you promising us. Are you promising us things that we already have? We already have high inflation, right? We already have our money is devaluating. We already have, as far as lack of respect on a global platform. People do not respect Americans anymore, right? You already have all these things. You have gas prices going up, food prices going up. These things is happening right here, right now. So under your VP presidency, under Biden presidency. So how you gonna get us into something that get us out of something that you put us in? That's my question. That's my question. Does anyone have an answer? But let's continue.
Such as your salary should be enough to provide you and your family with a good quality of life.
That sounds good. We all know the reality of that one. If inflation is skyrocketing, right? If your money is devaluing, which means that you can have $100,000 today, you can have $1 million today. In 10 years, you're back at zero. If you don't understand to beat the rate of inflation and to make sure that you're getting some form of profit or cash flow. These are the sectors, right, that has went all the way up. And somebody put all the way up in the comments in the chat. Put all the way up, right? One sector, electricity. Your electricity bill has went up by 25%. Did your paycheck go up by 25%? Did your sales go up by 25% if you're an entrepreneur? Your grocery bills, it went up by another 25%, right? The interest rates, it 11x'd. The hotel rates and fees, 15% increase. 33% have 3 months emergency savings. So people are tapping into their emergency savings. You have 40 through 49-year-olds, highest credit card debt is $7,600. Inflation rate is at an 8.35, right? Credit score has dropped for the first time in 10 years. This is currently under the Bidenomics, right? Which is AKA Kamalanomics or Harrisnomics. So these things is happening under their advising currently. Why are they advising us now as if they're going to do anything better? Can we talk about it? Well, let's discuss.
Such as no child should have to grow up in poverty. Such as after years of hard work, you should be able to retire with dignity. And you should be able to join a union if you choose. Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. Because I strongly believe when the middle class is strong, America is strong.
You said building up the same middle class that you helped tear down? I don't get it. See, I look at this world as being very Shakespearean. Everything's the stage play, right? The same middle class that you helped destroy, you plan on helping to revive or resurrect the middle class. You cannot resurrect it. It's already destroyed. To me, she's selling us on dead points. And if you understand economics, right? Why would you tax the rich, right? Like the rich is not going to tax the poor or the consumers. You're not solving anything by taxing the rich. That's another conversation, but let's continue.
So in the weeks to come, I will address in greater detail my plans to build an opportunity economy. And today, I will focus on one element that's on the minds of many Americans.
Pause. And I'm going to keep pausing because I want to analyze everything that she's saying, right? We cannot let her get away with anything. We have to hold them accountable, hold their feet to the fire, right? You keep talking about opportunities. The opportunities to me and what I see and what I hear with my own eyes and ojos, they're skipping over one community to give all the opportunities to the other community. They keep on trying to start this race war, right? Have you noticed, right? Every 4 years, right, you would have a case that happened a year ago. They're going to announce it or give it to some type of special interest group to make some type of verdict on that case. For instance, y'all know the lady that ended up throwing the water on the hot water on the guy, or whatever. If you seen the video camera, full video, some people gonna say, "Hey, he did it." Um, it was white on black crime. That's what they're trying to stir up. But if you pay attention to what's going on, he kind of had probable cause, even if it wasn't. Let's just say, even if it wasn't what we expected, she still stepped towards him. Now, I'm not justifying to say that he's not wrong for what he did, because he could have disarmed her in different ways. But who's to say? We're judging from the outside looking in, right? Just like that lady who got shot in the parking lot from stealing a car, was stealing liquor. She's pregnant, but she's at the liquor store stealing alcohol. Hopped in a car. I'm gonna do a coverage on that, live on that. Hopped in a car, right? Lady hopped in a car. The police officer ended up shooting her while she stepped on the gas, was about to run him over with her vehicle. A vehicle could be a deadly weapon. But why are they talking about these things now as if they're trying to sway, right? Or have you to do a certain thing? Can we talk about it? I don't believe in coincidences, once again.
As they pay their bills at the kitchen table or walk the aisles of a grocery store. And that is lowering the cost of living.
How? How y'all
So
plan on doing
every
that?
day across our nation, families talk about their plans for the future, their ambitions, their aspirations for themselves, for their children. And they talk about how they're going to be able to actually achieve them financially. Because look, the bills add up.
Don't they?
Food, rent, gas, back to school clothes, prescription medication. After all that, for many families, there's not much left at the end of the month. I grew up in a middle-class household. For most of my childhood, we were renters. My mother saved for well over a decade to buy a home.
Crazy.
I was a teenager when that day finally came, and I can remember so well how excited she was. I kind of understood what it meant, but we called her Mommy. Mommy was so excited, it just made us excited that she was so excited. Later in college, I worked at McDonald's to earn spending money. Well, some of the people I worked with were raising families on that paycheck. They worked second or even third jobs to pay rent and buy food. That only gets harder when the cost of living goes up. When I am elected president, I will make it a top priority to bring down costs and increase economic security for all Americans.
How?
As president, I will take on the high costs that matter most to most Americans, like the cost of food. We all know that prices went up during the pandemic when the supply chains shut down and failed.
Okay.
But our supply chains have now improved.
That's cap. It's gonna take us, y'all gotta read the book Sold Out, right? It's gonna take us at least 10 years to improve our way of getting things, right? Our supply chain. It's gonna take, the chain has popped. It's gonna take at least 10 years to It's going to take at least 10 years for us to iron out the kinks of what's going on, right? Read the book Sold Out. She's telling us that it's already improved. How? Did you know people don't understand how the supply chain go, right? Let me break it down to you. You might buy, let's just say you might buy some tennis shoes, right? Now, the shoe may have came from somewhere else, the sole of the shoe. The strings, the cottons that come in your shoe may have came from another place on earth. The plastic that goes in the shoe, the box, the cardboard box may have came from somewhere else. The sleeve that it might go in may have came from somewhere else. So when you understand the supply chain, right, it actually relies on everybody else for you to get that one product. You got to think about logistics. You got to think about manufacturing. You got to think about production. So we've been on this pathway for a while, and that's why grocery prices keep on going up. Because you have ports, right? Which is where we receive, export, and import our goods. These ports are blocked. If it take, for example, when we had the right? The ports were blocked because of that. Which means that if it's blocked for a day, 2, 3, a month, as far as lockdown, it could set your economy back by a couple years. And then the laws and regulation, right? That renders, in order for you to pick up goods and services, transport them, you have to go through some form of regulation. That's very much time consuming. So every second matters. Every thought matters. Every movement matters. And the way I see it is, our supply problem is not solved. We got about 5, 6 more years to go. In fact, we got to create a new one. For example, that's why you see the growth of AI. That's why you see the growth of robotics. That's why you see the growth of microchips. That's why you see the growth in the technological spaces. This is why. Because we have to renovate our supply chain. But let's continue.
And prices are still too high.
Is it?
A loaf of bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic.
My God.
Ground beef is up almost 50%.
Oh, Lord.
Many of the big food companies are seeing their highest profits in 2 decades. And while
Supply demand.
many grocery chains pass along these savings, others still aren't. Look, I know most businesses are creating jobs, contributing to our economy, and playing by the rules. But some are not. And that's just not right. And we need to take action when that is the case.
Is that right? Is that right?
As Attorney General in California, I went after companies that illegally increased prices, including wholesalers that inflated the price of prescription.
Pause. Y'all heard what she did in California. Horrible. The cap is real. Maybe that's why they wear blue. Smash that like button if you agree. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Kamala Harris just came out with her policies, and to me, it's empty promises. Can we talk about it? Well, let's discuss.
Medication. And companies that conspired with competitors to keep prices of electronics high. I won more than $1 billion for consumers. So believe me, as president, I will go after the bad actors.
You need to go after yourself.
And I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food. My plan will include new penalties for opportunistic.
I don't think our problem is price gauging on food. The supply chain is going to make inflation skyrocket. It's not us price gauging on food. What is she talking about? Where is she getting her data points from? What business did she ever run? Did she try anything? Let's continue.
Companies that exploit crises and break the rules, and we will support smaller food businesses that are trying to play by the rules and get ahead. We will help the food industry become more competitive because I believe competition.
After y'all done put the moms and pop businesses due to the old jabber jabber, right? After y'all done put them out of business. That's why I say this is the snake eating its tail. After you don't put these people out of business, these moms and small pop shops, right? And you incentivize these large companies, right? You gave them a bailout, right? What makes you think that moms and pops are willing to open up and do the same thing again? It's going to cost them way more. So once again, you're selling us empty promises. You need to go to some form of economical, let's just say basic economics, one-on-one, supply demand, right? She need to go hit up that class because I could tell she just talking out her, you know what. But let's continue.
Is the lifeblood of our economy. More competition means lower prices for you and your families.
Does it? What did you just
Now
say?
compare what Donald Trump plans to do.
There you
He
go.
wants to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax on everyday products and basic necessities that we import from other countries. That will devastate Americans. It will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on...
That's going to happen regardless if you understand what's going on with the supply chain. This is outside of Trump's control. Stop blaming Trump for your own problems. For our own problems as the United States of America. Red or blue, we all still have to live in this place. So there's no point of pointing the finger. What's the solution?
Food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. And you know, economists have done the math. Donald Trump's plan would cost a typical family $3,900 a year.
How much would your plan
At
cost?
this moment, when everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher. As president, I'll take on the issue of the cost of health care. As Attorney General, I took on insurance companies and Big Pharma and got them to lower their prices.
Pause.
And together with President Biden.
Pause. Big Pharma tell you what to do, Kamala Harris. They have the hank in this situation. Their lobbyists give you guys a lot of money. And you guys pass laws that benefits them. So please don't tell us about you working with Big Pharma. Because Big Pharma ain't never helped nothing but themselves. Big Pharma ain't never helped nothing but themselves. And then what's the point of taking all these medicines if the side effects is out the door? The side effects is causing you another issue. Can we talk about it?
We've gone even further. We capped the price of insulin at $35 a month, and the total cost of prescription drugs at $2,000 a year for seniors. We let Medicare negotiate lower drug prices.
This is a fact. Veterans and seniors have said this, and this is on record. Do not believe me. Look it up yourself, right? This is on record. They had way more money to spend, right? Disposable income under Trump administration than they currently do now. No one cares about them now under the Democrats' policy makings or schematics. So she's saying one thing while the middle class, right? While the people is saying something else.
This is for seniors. And just yesterday, we announced that we are lowering the price by up to 80% for 10 more life-saving drugs.
I don't know if it's that a fact. I gotta check that because I don't know. For her, it's hard to figure out. People lie with a smile on their
And I
face.
pledge to continue this progress. I'll lower the cost of insulin and prescription drugs for everyone with your support, not only our seniors.
Empty
And
promises.
demand transparency from the middlemen who operate between Big Pharma and the insurance companies who use opaque practices to raise your drug prices and profit off your need for medicine. 2 months ago, I announced that medical debt will no longer be used against your credit score.
Does it actually matter if it's going to be used against it or not when the entire United States, as far as their credit score rating, is currently at a what? We was at a triple A. Now we got a double A battery. What? What bunny? What energizer? But what are we energizing? We could barely control the energy that we have in the United States. We need to start drilling here and or start making things here and export over there instead of depending on everyone else. That's why everything is so high, because our prices, right, are depicted by people overseas. So let's make America even greater.
And I will work as president with states like here in North Carolina, Roy Cooper, thank you again, to cancel medical debt for more and more, millions more Americans. As for Donald Trump, well, he wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act, which 45 million Americans rely on. 45 million Americans rely on it for health care. That would take us back to a time when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. We all remember what that was. And we're not going back. We're not going back.
You all see this?
And remember, and this is why we're not going back, because we do remember, he tried to cut Medicare every year he was president, threatening a program that tens of millions of seniors count on. And according to his Project 2025 agenda, he intends to undo our work to bring...
That's the only thing that they trying to say about Trump. This 2025 agenda, he does not even support. It's the Carnegie Group that really supports that, right? And that's their problem. It doesn't mean that he supports it. She keeps saying that he supports it. He doesn't. And these are facts. But don't believe me, look it up yourself.
Down prescription drugs, the cost of prescription drugs, and insulin costs. Well, we've come too far to let that happen. So we're not going back on that, and let's talk about the cost of housing. So now, the housing market can be complicated, but look, I'm not new to this issue. As State Attorney General, I drafted and helped pass a homeowner bill of rights, one of the first in America. And during the foreclosure crisis, I took on the big banks for predatory lending with many of my colleagues, including Roy Cooper, and won $20 billion for California families when I was Attorney General.
Where's the money?
So I know how to fight for people who are being exploited in the housing market. And I know what home ownership...
This is what I don't understand. If you knew all of these things, right, and you was considered the border czar, the person who control what comes in and out of the border, which is everything's coming in, right? And you incentivize them in order to get here. And not only that, you incentivize them as far as New York. They get $2 billion a year for migrants. They don't get $2 billion a year for American citizens. So as far as priority goes, right, they're using the migrants as priority, and you as not that important, right? So you're incentivizing them and saying that you're going to give the American people something. There's nothing left to give. But listen to her housing policies, because we don't know the ins and out of this housing policy. We don't know if this is a grant. Can you write this off? Is it considered taxable income? If you qualify for this, do you get the full amount? Do you have the first time home buyers program? If you don't spend all of the money, can you put it down on the closing costs? Like, what's the criteria with this money? And how many people will actually qualify? Can we talk about it?
Means it's more than a financial transaction. It's so much more than that. It's more than a house. Home ownership and what that means, it's a symbol of the pride that comes with hard work. It's financial.
There's not enough homes in America to go around. I'm just telling people that now.
Financial security. It represents
some.
what you will be able to do for your children. And sadly, right now, it is out of reach for far too many American families. There's a serious housing shortage. In many places, it's too difficult to build, and it's driving prices up. As president, I will work in partnership with industry to build the housing we need, both to rent and to buy. We will take down barriers and cut red tape, including at the state and local levels. And by the end of my first term, we will end America's housing shortage by building 3 million new homes and rentals that are affordable for the middle class. And we will do that together. We will do that together. And we will make sure those homes actually go to working and middle class Americans, not just investors. Because some corporate landlords, some of them buy dozens, if not hundreds of houses and apartments. Then they turn them around and rent them out at extremely high price.
I don't know how she's going to insure this. I don't know how she plans on insuring this one. I don't know how she plans on insuring this one. All right, let's continue this video.
And it can make it impossible then for regular people to be able to buy or even rent a home. Some corporate landlords collude with each other to set artificially high rental prices.
Okay, that's true.
Often using algorithms in price fixing software to do it. It's anti-competitive and it drives up costs. I will fight for a law that cracks down on these practices. We also know that as the price of housing has gone up, the size of down payments have gone up as well. Even if aspiring homeowners save for years, it often still is not enough. So in addition, while we work on the housing shortage, my administration will provide first-time home buyers with $25,000 to help with the down payment on a new home.
We don't know the criteria yet.
We can do this. All to help more Americans experience the pride of home ownership and the financial security that it represents and brings. So that's my plan. But here's what Donald Trump would do.
Listen.
If his Project 2025 agenda is put into effect,
That's not happening.
It will add around $1,200 a year to the typical American mortgage. He's got it backward. We should be doing
It's funny, and I did the math with them. And if you consider their plans, right, their plan will actually cost you about $1,352 annually. Trump still got him beat. Let's continue.
everything we can to make it more affordable to buy a home, not less.
Supply demand.
Finally, there's one more
Can't
way
control that.
I will help families deal with rising costs. And that's by letting you keep more of your hard-earned money.
How? Another tax bill? How?
Under my plan, more than 100 million Americans will get a tax cut. And we will do this by restoring 2 tax cuts designed to help middle-class and working Americans. The Earned Income Tax.
So they're going to do the earned income tax credit and maybe some type of child credit, right? But my thing is this. If the earned income tax credit, they're going to make that lower, right? And everything else costs, right? It's going to balance out to be the same thing, if not worse. That's why I say she needs to go to an economical class or something like that. It's no way to really fix this problem unless you start off with the root of the problem. The root of the problem is simple. The root of the problem is energy and production. So if you could start in the United States with energy, untapped energy, right? And do mass production, warehouses and everything else, in about a decade to 2, we should be one of the greatest. We should be one of the greatest.
Credit. And the child tax credit. Millions of Americans with children got to keep more of their hard-earned income. We know this works and has a direct impact on so many issues, including child poverty. We know it works. So as president, I'll not only restore that tax cut, but expand it. We will provide $6,000 in tax relief to families during the first year of a child's life. Now think what that means.
If you have a business, you can already do that. Make your child a bookkeeper. I don't know what she's talking about. That's why I say she needs to go to some type of school, right? Because you can tell she have not done nothing, anything that's in the best interest of the United States of America.
That means that is a vital, vital year of critical development of a child.
And pause. She said just for 1 year. So what happens when the child 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, 8, 9, 10? So 1 year. That's like what? 5% of their life? You're gonna make sure that they straight? Is that really giving anything?
And the cost can really add up, especially for young parents who need to buy diapers and clothes and a car seat and so much else. And we will do this while reducing the deficit.
I don't know how.
Compare my plan with what Donald Trump intends to do.
You don't have a plan,
He plans to give billionaires massive tax cuts year after year. And he plans to cut corporate.
That's how I say she don't know how money works. She don't know how the economic work. She don't know. Okay, let me walk y'all through it, right? Because it don't take a genius for this one. You tax the rich people, the corporation. They're going to say, okay, we're going to pass that tax that you're giving us to the consumer. Oh, no, we're not paying those. Why would we? We're giving you the opportunity. So I think that it's actually beneficial if these people at the top, corporation pays less and incentivize, right, the employees or the worker more. I think that makes sense. But you simply taxing the rich, like they're not gonna pass the price hike down to the consumer. So you still don't control that. So if you say, hey, they gotta pay high taxes, they're gonna say, okay, cool. We're gonna make sure we're gonna figure out a way how to pay zero to nothing taxes, even if we have to raise our prices for the consumers to buy. If the consumer don't buy, then there you have it. The method don't work. So taxing the rich and thinking that that's gonna fix the problem of the poor is not. It's actually gonna make the problem even worse if you understand what's going on. Entrepreneurs run the game, right? Most people work for some type of entrepreneur, whether you like it or not. And these entrepreneurs, they can be criminals, they can be all these things, right? But they're still successful at something. And the thing is, they're successful at the economical factor. They understand how the game go. So the way I see it is, you taxing the rich and thinking that you're going to take from the rich to give to the poor. Robin Hood? Come on, man. Can we talk about it? Let's discuss.
Corporate taxes by over $1 trillion, even as they pull in record profits.
That's not going
And
to
that's
stop.
on top of the $2 trillion tax cut he already signed into law when he was president. Which, by the way, overwhelmingly went to the wealthiest Americans and corporations and exploded.
Because that's what makes America work. Without them, America wouldn't work.
If you want to know who someone cares about, look who they fight for. Look who they fight for.
See, I'm glad that she said that. If you want to know what somebody cares about, look who they fight for, right? Kamala, who have you fought for? You fought for the migrants over the American citizens, right? Follow her program. You fought for the migrants over the American citizen. You fought for the LGBTQ, whatever's. You fought for their rights, right? You fought for high inflation. You fought for America to be where it's at right now. So it goes to show who you really support. You fight for the Asians. You don't fight for black. It goes to show who you really support. Can we talk about it?
Donald Trump fights for billionaires and large corporations. I will fight to give money back to working and middle class America.
BS. I smell it. First she said I, and then she said we. The truth is, she will fight for the Asians. She will fight for everything else. But she gonna fight for whoever she identifies as. We all know she identifies as Asian. So that should tell you who she fighting for. Let's continue.
So I'll end with this. 2 days ago, Donald Trump was here in North Carolina.
And he rocked the whole show.
He said he was going to talk about the economy. I think you all watched. You know what I'm about to say.
He said he was going to talk about the economy, and to me, she said she thinks that she talked about the economy. She just opened up her lips. She said nothing that was forward moving. She had no real solutions. How? You created more problems.
But he offered no serious plans to reduce costs for middle class families.
Like her plan was so serious.
To expand access to housing or health care.
It's all a game.
And that, actually, I think for most of us, was not surprising. Because we already know his plans. We know the Project 2025 agenda.
That's all that she keeps saying.
So there's...
Man, you got to switch your viewpoints. That's the only thing you got on Trump? 2025 agenda, which is not true. Switch your viewpoints. That's the only thing negative you can say. I can't wait till y'all have y'all little speech battle. I'm sure you're going to get grilled and cooked.
A choice in this.
Everyone grab your pots and pans. Don't forget the spatula. It's time to cook.
Election. Donald Trump's plans to devastate the middle class, punish working people, and make the cost of living go up for millions of Americans. And on the other,
I don't know how he punishing the working class when he stimulated the whole economy. How did he punish the working class? Seems like the working class is being punished under you guys' administration. I'm talking about the blue. Y'all think Bloods and Crips was the real gang. The real gang is Democrats and Republicans. Can we talk about it?
And when I'm elected president, what we will do to bring down costs, increase the security and stability financially of your family, and expand opportunity for working and middle class Americans. So now is the time to chart a new way forward. Now is the time to chart a new way forward, to build
I don't know if her audience or something, maybe they do whatever they told. But on that note, I just covered the whole policy, Kamala Harris' whole policy. Let me know what you guys think about it. Remember, right? I will not bash you for you voting for Kamala. Your vote, your count. Just make sure that you understand the policy, and if it's best for you, then it's best for you. I'm more of an entrepreneur, so I know who I'm voting for. And hey, let's highlight the rights and let's highlight the wrong, but the choice is yours. On that note, peace, blessings, and love. Tell a friend and tell a friend. This is the beginning. This is not the end. Another episode of the Healthy Discussion Show. Boom! We out.